The LG V20 user here, and today I'm doing a video about T-Mobile. So I'm on arstechnica.com here. If you guys ever heard of this website, check it out, I guess. So T-Mobile is being fined $40 million for deceiving customers with fake ringtones on failed phone calls. So this is not good. This is not good at all. I mean, it says that, yes, you see that at the bottom that says FCC fines T-Mobile $40 million for roll call failures, but requires no refunds. Okay. Says T-Mobile USA has agreed to pay $40 million fine after admitting that it failed to complete phone calls in rural areas and used fake ringtones that created the appearance that the calls were going through and no one was picking up. To settle this matter, T-Mobile admits that it violated the Commission's prohibition against the insertion of false ringtones and that it did not correct problems with delivery of phone calls to certain rural areas, states an order issued by the FCC today. T-Mobile will pay the $40 million fine into the U.S. Treasury. T-Mobile will pay $40 million fine into the U.S. Treasury. FCC Commissioner criticized that the Commission for not getting refunds for customers. So customers who are affected by this will not get a refund. So just basically telling you to just go F yourself. But this is just ridiculous, man. It says T-Mobile admitted that it used the false ringtones on hundreds of millions of calls each year. The FCC said it's not clear how many of these calls weren't completed at all because T-Mobile used the fake ringtones on many types of calls that took longer than usual to complete. The FCC order explains why fake ringtones are a violation of a Commission rule that has been in effect since January 2014. I'm guessing here's like a quote from like the rule or whatever. It says false ringtones cause callers to believe that the phone is ringing at the called party's premises when it is not. A caller may then hang up thinking no one is available to receive the call. Fake ringtones also create a misleading impression that a caller's service provider is not responsible if the call fails. False ringtones are a problem on calls into rural areas and are a symptom of the problems of impaired quality and completion of calls to rural areas. T-Mobile was already using fake ringtones for several years before that rule took effect. The company continued inserting fake ringtones into calls despite the new rule. No refunds for affected customers, which is bullshit. So, says here, there is absolutely nothing in this consent decree to compensate customers. Prior consent decrees have included direct-to-customer benefits such as refunds or discounts or notifications to customers who have been impacted, despite demonstrating a clear and tangible consumer harm. In this consent decree, customers are treated as a mere afterthought. The $40 million penalty is too small to address the massively deceptive and harmful violations of the Commission's rules, likely impacted billions, yes, billions of telephone calls to rural areas over the past several years. The fine is also dwarfed by larger unpaid fines recently proposed against individual robocallers, and the compliance plan that T-Mobile must follow does not contain any concessions that would explain such a massive discount, she wrote. Claiborne, one of the two Democrats on the Republican Majority Commission, also criticized Chairman Ajit Pai for not letting the full commission vote on the T-Mobile order. The order was issued by the Commission's Enforcement Bureau without a vote of the full commission, even though the chairman's office was directly engaged in negotiating this item, she wrote. Call completion problems are more common in rural areas than urban ones. The FCC said that it opened an investigation into T-Mobile after getting complaints that T-Mobile callers were unable to reach customers served by 3 rural carriers in Wisconsin. The complaints began in June 2016. T-Mobile investigated the complaints as well as filed reports with the FCC describing its investigations. In each instance, T-Mobile reported that it had handed the call off to an intermediate provider for delivery and that any reported problems have been resolved, the FCC said. But the FCC said that it continued to receive complaints about failing calls and the problem extended beyond Wisconsin. Call completion complaints filed directly with T-Mobile showed patterns of problems with call delivery to customers in at least 7 other rural areas, the FCC said. Rural call completion problems significantly harm the public interest because they cause rural businesses to lose revenue, impede medical professionals from reaching patients in rural areas, cut families off from their relatives, and create the potential of dangerous delays in public safety communications, and the FCC says. So this whole thing is not good. You think that you think that the call's going through, but it's not because you're getting fake ringtones and all that. I mean, this is not good. It's not. It's not good at all. It's not, because it could be a life or death situation if a doctor's trying to call their patient who lives in a rural area and cannot get in touch with them. It could be a life or death situation. Fake ringtones. The FCC order explains that T-Mobile has been using fake ringtones for a decade. In 2007, holy shit, T-Mobile began using service that included a local ringback tone for calls from certain customers that took more than a certain amount of time to complete, the FCC said. When T-Mobile migrated to different servers in 2013, the carrier began using the local ringback tone only for out-of-network calls from its customers that were routed via sessions and invitation protocol trunks, and that more than a certain amount of time to complete the call. Okay, T-Mobile acknowledged that it continued its practice of using the local ringback tone on such calls and experienced the local ringback tone to cover such calls on additional SIP routes after the FCC ruled prohibiting the practice, which went into effect in January 2014, the FCC said. Because T-Mobile applied this practice to out-of-network calls from its customers on SIP routes. It took more than a certain amount of time on a nationwide basis, and without regards to time of day, the LRBT was likely injected into the hundreds of millions of calls each year. Although T-Mobile used the fake ringtones for years, both before and after the FCC outlawed them, T-Mobile claimed in a statement to the CNBC and other media outlets that it was unintentional. The statement from T-Mobile Public Relations Squad praises the company twice before acknowledging the years-long mistake. T-Mobile is committed to all of our customers across the country, T-Mobile said. Our action has always been focused on better serving our customers, and the ringtone oversight, which was corrected in January 2017, was intentional. We have settled this matter, and we will continue to focus on our mission, end quote. January 2017, when T-Mobile fixed the problem, was about 6 months after the FCC started receiving complaints. T-Mobile compliance plan will involve training for employees, better procedures for investigating call completion complaints, and regular compliance reports to the FCC, among other things. The requirements will remain in effect for 3 years. This is not good. I mean, hopefully T-Mobile will fix this shit. Hopefully everything will get back to normal. You know, this is only affecting people who live in rural areas. If you're trying to call someone in a rural area and you think that the call is going through, but it's actually not, I mean, that could be a life or death situation. If it's a doctor trying to call their patient who lives in a rural area, if a family member is trying to call someone at home in the rural area, and it don't matter what the situation is. This is just fucking crazy. Hopefully T-Mobile will pay up, and hopefully T-Mobile will fix this shit. And I'm sure that T-Mobile's not the only one that has had this problem before. I'm sure other carriers have had it before, but T-Mobile is the one that's being fined here $40 million to be exact. So if you guys got any complaints or anything like that about about your calls not going through, or for whatever reason, file a complaint to the FCC. So do that if you guys ever need to file a complaint or whatever. Do that. Man, this is not good. This is life or death situation here. Like the person who's trying to call the caller who's trying to call the person who lives in the rural area, the receiver, the person on the receiving end, don't get no notification about a call or nothing. Sometimes you get like a message like your call can't be completed at this time, or the person you try to dial is not available, or anything like that, or the number you dialed is not in service at this time, or whatever. Man, this is just fucking bad. This is just fucking bad all over the fucking place. It's bad, man. It's bad because, like I said, it could be an emergency, man. What if a doctor needs to contact their patient, or what? It don't matter what the situation is. It's ridiculous. And T-Mobile needs to fix this shit. Hopefully this will never happen again. And T-Mobile will pay up, and it says that the customers who are affected by this will not get no refunds, which I think is completely bullshit. I think the customers who are affected by this should at least get some some compensation from this inconvenience. This is a big inconvenience, what I'm saying, because it could be a life or death situation, what I'm saying, if a doctor's trying to call their patient and they cannot get a hold of their patient for whatever reason. So T-Mobile, man, this is ridiculous. This has been going on for years and shit like that, and I don't know, man. So what do you guys think about this? So let me know about that in the comment section video. So if you guys enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up, guys. It really helps me out a lot. Please subscribe. Thank you very much for watching my video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.